Okay, so the next thing is about the Phoenicians, which, as you can see here, this is the Holy Land. Oh, this is all biblical. And then Egypt's like right down here around the corner. Here the Great Pyramid, like right over here. you know, this is the Phoenicians' turf. And the Jews. The Phoenicians, they were like the Canaanites, and the Canaanites were like good and bad Jews, sort of. I mean, it's like the Jews were like, you know, get rid of the human sacrificing, Moloch worshiping Canaanites, and God will give the Jews. They'll be their chosen. They'll be His chosen people. See, and so because they were like the Jews that didn't like all the human, they didn't like all the partying, the heavy duty partying that the Canaan, like Cain and Abel, like Cain and Abel. You put it together, you got cannibal. Yeah, and then they got like the little contest with God, and see, Cain and Abel make God some stew. And since Abel he had cattle, he made some beef stew, and say like he was a herder, he made some meat stew, a shepherd, and then Cain was like he was a gardener, so he made vegetable soup. And God said, spit that vegetable. What is that? He spits it out. And but then he eats Abel, and now that's some soup there. Now the part they leave out, the part that becomes cryptic, is that along with all that Moloch stuff, they had what you call the cannibalism going on, and the because the Phoenicians be like traveling the seas, and at times they have to like eat one of themselves, to survive, because they get stuck somewhere in the sea or a storm, or washed up somewhere on an island, and they got to eat somebody. So they make it part of their culture, like to eat people, on ritually. Uh, because they know it's not something they want to do, it's something they have to do to survive, and they want their kids to grow up, like 2 generations later, they're like, I'll just die, I ain't eating them. And so they raise the kids with some cannibal rituals. And so when they're out to sea and something happens, they won't think too hard about eating cutting off one of their arms, or like they'll make it work for their survival. It's not as wicked as it seems. But see, then they come in here and they're still practicing it, even though they're not going to sea, and even though there's like lots of food everywhere. No need to eat people, but so the Jews are like, like the Judah tribe is like, man, you people need to stop eating all them people, man. And then the Canaanites like, screw you, man. It's God. We're worshiping our God. Because they don't forget why they really do it. So then the Phoenicians, who want them to stop eating it, because the Phoenicians are guides, they're the sea traders. They're the ones like there's all these hunter gatherers all around the world in the Red Sea and the Mediterranean and the Atlantic. There's hunter gatherers everywhere, or people with marginal agricultural skills living basic bottom of the barrel lives, and the Phoenicians would go around and they'd find them out and go, hey man, you got some cool trees growing there. You got some cool fish like in that pond. They find something that they can trade with them on, or they find like some innovation they've come up with that nobody else has seen. And so they go around. They're kingmakers, and they got something called Tyranian purple is this dye made from snails, really expensive because it takes like thousands of snails to make a little bit of this purple dye. And so the robes, and it's like like once you reach a trading level with them, that to respect to be made a king, then you get a purple robe. You can buy the purple robe. When you can afford to buy it, you can become a king. And so they were like the guy. They were the kingmakers, the Lord of Lords, and then. So then they say, man, but this cannibalism stuff down here is a bad look. It's bad for business. It's like, well, we never meant it to be like that. It was just a necessity and stuff, and we had different ways we practiced it. Sometimes it was just fake eating people just to get the kids to think they ate some people so they'd have a stomach for it. So. But these Canaanites have gone too far. They done forgot what it's all about. So we need he said, well, okay, the good Canaanites, the good Judas, they said, you get rid of them bad Canaanites, the Cain and Abel Canaanites, and then you'll be our chosen people, which means like, we're gonna send you on missions to all of our kingdoms with the written language that we trade in. Like written language was originated from the Phoenicians, the phonetics, the alphabet, phonics, like Fontaine, font, the fonts. That all comes from for them managing their books and trade and credit and managing their kingdoms, but they needed bookkeepers and traders. So the Jews were already land traders, so they're already walking with their camels or whatever. They're already traders. Stuff comes into these ports. And then the Jews take them inland, and then when they become chosen people, they station trained accountants and kingdom managers, people that know how to get the king and his purple robe into a nice palace and set up institutions to manage everything, and so that's, so they were God's chosen people, and the gods were the Phoenicians, the word of God, the word of the words written down by the Phoenicians. And then, like that's how everything, and then later the Knights Templar took over the whole banking thing because because everything, it was like these iterations happen as the economy expands to new next level technologies and wealth and population growth and trade systems. And it's now 9. It's time to end this one here.